Hey, Lord Henry. Good to see you. Glad you're here. I'm going to be relying on chat today. Today is not the day for me to be doing the things I said I was going to be doing in the video description. I was up way too late last night, so I literally woke up 15 minutes ago after I had an alarm set to put the description up this morning. So I hope y'all can help me through my brain fog today. Yeah, everything's going all right. There's just and like I say, like I've always said, I don't, give out a whole lot of personal information and that sort of stuff on my stream. This isn't a just chatting channel or something like on Twitch. It's not like people care about my personal life. There's just a lot of things going on right now. I'm making some bigger changes going on in my life, which are good. I like change. I like challenges and that sort of stuff in my life, and been doing the same thing for a lot of my life, and I love it. I was one of those rare people who knew what they wanted to do when they were a young kid, and I love what I do and my job. It's just time. It's time for a change. I will never lose that love I have for what I do. But as I get older, I realize that just doing the same thing every day for the rest of your life is not what I want to be. So, going through a lot of changes in my life, which is, again, there's going to be some nat ones rolled in there. I've been rolling a lot of nat ones the past 3 months, but hopefully the occasional nat 20 will make it all worthwhile. So, but yes, thank you, Lord Henry. I certainly will be looking for y'all's help today as we go through this, because I've got my notes, but yeah, I'm tired. So, hey, David, welcome. Thanks for being here. Yeah, Lord Henry, and I guess we're before things started. I didn't want to spend a lot of time in the stream itself going through the mod manager, because like I said, there's so much there. It's an intense amount of content. But we're here before. We're kind of going through things, so I might just kind of export a little bit here. Yeah, David, I swore I wasn't going to do this. I made a big deal about not doing it. I did some experimenting in my non-honor mode playthrough, and found out something that I want to explain to everybody, that was mentioned in the patch notes that I talked about in the admin notes of one of my videos after patch 7 came out. We're not going to do it that way. We're actually going to have the fight today. But I am not going to allow the run to be ruined here because of it. So we'll talk more about it. But I guess clicking on the mod manager here, the first time you do it, you're going to have to read through their terms of use and everything, and they're for modders these are a lot more important, but for the users there's actually some things in the terms of use that you'll want to be aware of. Nothing really serious, but like I say, there's some things in here that are really about, because like I say, the game is so customizable. The main thing is that the content here that is published by these individuals is wholly owned and responsibility owned by the individuals. You can't modify their own stuff and upload it as yours. And I foresee a bit of an issue with that. Literally millions of mods have been downloaded and installed. Literally millions. Sven came out and said that they had passed the 1 million mark, and then the mod.io team, who's in charge of the front end of this and the management of all of this behind the scenes, put out that they had passed 3 million. There's so much here. It's like I say, it's crazy. There are right now, this is 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 24 on each page, and right now we have 36 pages. So we're looking at just shy of 1,000 mods here. And there are almost anything you can think of for altering content, consequences, gear, items, abilities, inventory, all of that sort of stuff is in here. And it's really good that they've added kind of the Twitch or the Twitter, type, or Facebook type, or Instagram type things that everybody is so familiar with in the number of downloads, the number of likes. That's a big deal for a lot of people, to be able to look at these and see how new they are, how many people have downloaded them. You can filter any of them in here. One thing that I wish, and I haven't, is this is the trending tab, and you can put all sorts of filters in here, but you can also search by the most downloaded. So 432,000 downloads for some of these things. So it's, like I say, there's, and it is funny because one of the most downloaded things here is the mod manager fixes. So it's actually really impressive what the community has done, and also what Larian has done. Giving people access to Osiris, like I say, their in-house coding language for the game, means that it's not only stuff, like your equipment and visual effects and dice. I mean, literally things that people have been asking for since the start of the game are now here. But it's not just cosmetic stuff like that. There are spell changes and that sort of stuff that are in here. There are the additional races that can be added to the game and or changed. And this is one of those things that allowing physical modifications to overwrite sections of the code to allow in things like additional campaign content and additional races, things that fundamentally add on to the game, which you would expect to see in a DLC. All of that stuff is possible, and it's just amazing to see. This game, here when we end the Bard and the Paladin playthroughs coming up in the next couple of weeks, I'm sure I'm going to get comments from people saying that they want to see a new playthrough, and possibly with mods. This game, very much like Skyrim, is going to continue on with new content created by the community for years after Larian has officially ended their support for this game. It's going to be crazy to see what the community comes up with for this, and the fact that Larian has fully embraced that and are giving ownership of the content of this game to the community going forward. Like I say, it's an incredible thing. It's an incredible thing to see. And one of the things that there was a lot of comment about when the game was in early access was the subclasses that were there, that Larian had to focus. There are so many subclasses in 5e, especially with the rule expansions, with Xanathars and Tashas, and then the new rule books that literally were released in the past 3 months for D&D, expands on that even more and pulls those ancillary rule sets into the core rule set of the game. There is so much that is possible here, and I honestly can't wait to see it. I am not playing with any mods. I haven't experimented with mods just because I don't want to take the chance that, because I'm sitting right now, I think on Steam 37 and I don't have Steam open anymore, like 37 achievements out of the 54 or something like that, because I still have yet to complete a full playthrough. So I don't want to change anything about the game and possibly disable any of those, but I'm really anxious to explore them as I go forward. Welcome everyone to today's live stream, episode number 23. It's not 22, I forgot to change that this morning. It's episode 23 of our Baldur's Gate 3 Honor Mode gameplay series. I'm Commander Jorval, and I want to thank you for coming along on our journey today. So, on an admin note, if you skip through the admin notes and you're interested in the mod manager stuff, you can go back and take kind of a sneak peek that I did during the chatting section. I'm not going to spend time on it here in the stream just because there's so much stuff to do there, and Larian still hasn't released the community post explaining more about their future of the mod manager, so I'm going to wait until that comes out to kind of deal more on it. But feel free to take a quick sneak peek of it if you rewind on the VOD and go back through the intro timer. So I don't think there's anything really on the admin notes. So today, or on our recap, at the end of last week's episode, we had mostly, there are 2 things left to fully explore on the east side of the River Keanthar. And we're going to do one of those today. And that is, we're going to start off with a big fight. Then we're going to head over to the Last Light Inn, and we are going to do a bunch of stuff around the Last Light Inn, including a couple of fights there at the inn, and then, or I should say one fight there at the inn, and then we're going to do something that I said I wasn't going to do in this playthrough. So let's go ahead and jump in here. And we'll kind of take a quick look at it. And yeah, Lord Henry, that's been a very popular one, is allowing the more party members instead of just 4. That's been a real popular one since, you know, that mod was first released, and that was released probably 9 months ago or 10 months ago. But yeah, it's been very, very popular, and something that is good, something that scales up both ends. You get an increase in damage and all that sort of stuff with your party. It's only fair that the enemy should get the same. So let me take a look here real quick where we are on carry weight. Okay.
Careful, I bite.
So we talked to He Who Was and picked up the quest last time. We're gonna go in here and just pick up everything that we can. You have to be kind of careful walking around in here. But there's a bunch of stuff that as honor mode players we want to pick up. Just because this is more gold for us when we go sell it.
I thought so.
Okay, some crafting ingredients. Okay. That's pretty much it. Madeline has Speak with the Dead available on her. You can't talk to her anymore. If you cast it on her, it will just tell you that the corpse has nothing else to say. You've already seen it when he was talking with her. So let's take a look at our map here, and I'm just making sure I cleared out all of the quest markers here. So we've now finished up all of this area here. The last 2 areas are in, actually I take that back. There are, yeah, really 2. We have an area here, which is where we're going to go next and get into a fight. We have this area here, which we're going to skip. We're going to come in here and open up a waypoint, but we're going to skip this. This is where we're going to meet Oliver and progress the quest to lift the Shadow Curse. Then we're going to head down here and open this up. After that's done, we're going to head into Last Light. So let's go over here and get into a fight. So we're going to head kind of west, straight west out of here. And we'll head over where we want to be. And we'll kind of go through this fight, because this fight had a fairly significant change with patch 7. And like I say, we want to explore that. We're taking a little bit of damage back there as we go through the Shadow Curse Vines, back where we had the encounter with the Needle Blights last stream.
Don't mind if I do.
Okay, and here's where we want to go. So the place that we're looking to adventure to is up here. And I'm going to put everybody into hiding back here. I'm going to bring my Bard. The reason that I'm doing that is for the high armor class that we have with my Bard. Now I could up this by 2 more to armor class 27 by heading into Last Light in here. I I don't think it's necessary for me to do it. So I'm going to leave everybody else back here.
Let's be on my way.
And I'm going to slowly head up here and we're going to kind of explain what we're going to get into. So now you can see the detection cones popping up.
More than me.
Might as well pick that up on the way. And we'll move up here just far enough so that we can get things to spawn in. So the detection cones are from enemies that we've seen before. We've got vine blights, we've got needle blights that are hiding in ambush up here, waiting for us. However, we also have a Shambling Mound. Now, Shambling Mounds are actually quite famous in 5e. As incredibly powerful enemies to deal with. And at no one's suggestion, I don't know anyone who asked for the Shadow Curse Shambling Mound to be buffed. At no one's suggestion, Larian took it upon themselves to give the Shambling Mound a legendary action. Now, let's quickly go through the Shambling Mound here. They have a passive feature called external digestion. So they can restrain characters. They have the Tanglevine form, which means that anytime you make a melee attack against it, you have to pass a saving throw or you're going to become entangled. Entangled means that you're stuck in place. You can't move. Attack rolls against you have advantage, and you have disadvantage on a bunch of things. But you have to make a strength saving throw against it. Now, my strength on my bard isn't that great. So, if I hit the Shambling Mound with a melee attack, I'm going to get entangled. When I'm restrained, then the Shambling Mound can devour any creature that is restrained and steeping in its digestive juices. Now, when it attacks, it can inflict digestive juices on you, which makes you vulnerable to piercing and bludgeoning damage while you also take acid damage. But if you are also restrained and covered in these digestive juices, then he can devour you. Devour's a problem. Because devour will instantly kill you. So there is a game over one shot here that the Shambling Mound has already had. This is not something new. But Larian decided why not make it even harder, and they gave it a legendary action. If the creature ends its turn within 5 meters of a Shambling Mound, it will take 3d10 necrotic damage. Shadow Cursed vines will grow at its feet, possibly entangling it. So basically, if you stop your turn within 5 meters of it, you're going to take a huge amount of damage and probably get restrained. And then you're just free pickings for the Shambling Mound and everybody else around you. And this is a passive. So you'll see a radius around it on the ground once it starts that. Now, thankfully, that is only triggered once combat begins. It doesn't have it just passively now while it's happening, and that's going to allow us to cheese the living crap out of this fight. Okay? Because there's one thing the Shambling Mound cannot do. It can't climb ladders. Everything else out here, the needle blights and the vine blights, can climb ladders. They're even going to have the Shadow Curse resurrect a couple of harpers over here. And all of them can climb ladders. Okay? Now, what all of those things that can climb ladders, the needle blights and the vine blights, they can climb the ladder, but the next thing that they cannot do is they cannot jump. So they can't make it across this gap. The two harpers can jump, and they can make it across that gap. So The deal is if we can make it up here onto this platform, then we are safe from safe-ish from all of the enemies except for the Harpers. I said safe-ish because the Shambling Mound, if it can see you at the start of its turn, has a Thorn Whip-like ability, like the Druid spell, where it can drag you towards it, and it can pull you off of these platforms onto the ground. And if you land onto the ground next to the Shambling Mound, you're going to have issues. So this is not a 100% do whatever you want foolproof type of method. You have to be careful when you are doing this. But I'm going to use my Bard to do this. Now, since I'm going to be attacking downwards, arguably taking Karlach up here with the throw ability would be even better. However, I'll kind of explain that. There's a problem with how her throw ability arcs. We've seen it before. It's got a high arc to it, and it gets interfered with a bunch of other things, trees and rocks and all that sort of stuff. Something that is much shallower, like a bow and arrow, which is going to be useless against, almost useless against the Shambling Mound because it's immune to piercing damage. Or something like Eldritch Blast, which is a straight line of sight shot, are much more useful up here. So, and yes, Lord Henry, I am going to do a respec. I'm just not going to need it for this. I plan on doing my respecs after I get to the last light, because I'm going to have to go talk to Withers anyway to deal with the vendors and the vendor attitudes over there. So I'm going to kind of handle all that a little bit later. But yes, thank you for the reminder. So what I'm going to do here, take a potion of invisibility. And I'm immediately going to run up to the ladder. Okay, once I get up here, I'm going to jump across. And now holding shift, you can see there's this back area here.
I don't need any attention right now.
Where you are not in a detection cone. Okay. The other thing about this area back here is that you are out of line of sight of the Shambling Mound. Okay, there's nowhere that it's going to be able to move where it's going to be able to see you directly there. Okay, so now all we need to do is start this fight off and stay out of line of sight of the Shambling Mound. That's all we need to do. So I don't want to move up there. I don't want to move where it can see me, because if I start this fight and I roll bad on initiative, I'm going to be standing where it can see me, and it could yank me off of this platform. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to pick an item, and it doesn't matter what I'm going to pick. And I'm going to throw it down here to start this off.
Hope this ends well.
Okay, so I rolled well on initiative, which is good. But for now, there's nothing that I really want to do for the remainder of my turn except not get anywhere near the Shambling Mound. And now you can see the legendary action, Wretched Growth. It is now triggered. You can see the outline. Now, what worried me when I was doing my testing for this was normally auras do not have a vertical component like they should. We've seen this before where if you have like a globe of silence or Hunger of Hadar, which is a globe, if you're standing underneath of it, you're still going to get hit of it, even though you're not in the visual effect of it. So I was worried that this aura extended all the way up to world height. But it doesn't, which is really, really good. The other thing that these platforms are not is they are not the earth. Now, the vine blights have a restrain ability where vines come up out of the ground and grab you. I'm not on the ground. So they have actually coded it in the game where those abilities will not work. So as long as I stay out of sight of the Shambling Mound, you'll see I'm going to be relatively safe. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, just like we dealt with the needle blights previously, I'm going to start prepping them for a chain reaction. And to do that, I'm just going to pick one here up at the front. Now I'm going to trigger Elder's Blast, and I'm not going to focus just on one, and I need to turn off Repelling Blast because I don't want them moving. I'm not going to focus just on one. Again, I want to damage another one as well. Okay. Okay, the Harpers have decided to stay down there for now, which is perfectly fine by me. So I missed the one that I hexed. So again, want to focus on the same two again. Okay. So now we're down to 20 here. Okay, so we're doing good. Okay, here come the Harpers. Now the Harpers, like I say, they can jump across here. Okay, to make it to my side. So now I'm going to try and start this off. And I'm going to do this with a Slashing Flourish ranged. So I can get multiple attacks here. Okay, so we're left with one. We'll go ahead and reapply Hex. Actually, he might be immune to necrotic. No, he's not. It's just poison. Okay, now he's frightened, so locked in place, can't move. Now, I am not going to move out of this spot. Couple important things to know or think about now. There are Shadow Cursed Vines all over the ground over here. Okay, Shadow Cursed Vines can entrap you and hold you in place. So when I decide to make my movement back over to this side, don't land yourself somewhere where you're going to land on Shadow Curse vines. Because again, if you get stuck in place here, you can be in line of sight for the Shambling Mound. It can yank you off the top here. So I'm not going to make a move yet. I'm going to wait until I have my full turn to do this. Okay, and now here, I'm going to use my action to dash. Okay, then my bonus action to jump, and again, make sure you're not landing in the vines. And then I normally move into this corner right there, but I want to go wide a little bit just to make sure I'm not going to land there. Okay, now again, this spot is the same. You can see I'd have to move forward to see him. And he's going to move normally right down here. And this is good for us because right here at the corner, we can see him. And then when we're done, we can move back to this spot. And now the cheese grater starts. And that's it. So again, honor mode, I'm going to show you every possible way to cheese some of this stuff because of the difficulty and the one-time only use of it, so to speak. Now again, with Karlach, if you stand here in this spot and you throw an item down there, this wall actually, for some reason, tends to give you path interrupted when you're trying to lob something down there. So with Karlach, what you have to do is you actually have to jump across, throw, move back. He will move back over here, you move, jump across, throw, move back, and you have to alternate it. And it just takes too much time. The time that I lose with the lower damage on Eldritch Blast here is still less than the time it takes to do all of that movement with Karlach, even though I have much more damage with her when it comes to attacking stuff from above it. The reason that I choose my Bard is because the lash that it uses is first an attack roll to see if it lands, and then if it lands you have a strength saving throw to resist it. So I choose a high armor class to try and avoid it landing in the first place, so I don't have to worry about the saving throw. And I need to stop talking and start concentrating here because I'm gonna mess this up. And there's very little room for leeway here. Now, if I was Astarion, I could go into hiding at the end of each turn and start off with a sneak attack. However, he's immune to piercing damage. So I need something else up here. Normally, like I say, I would be doing this with Astarion to gain that sneak attack damage, but here that's not applicable because he's immune to it. So even with the high ground and the +2 to hit, I'm still only at a 60% chance to hit. He has a decent armor class here. And adding Hex, he's resistant to necrotic damage. So he's resistant to it, as most Shadow Cursed things are, but he's not immune to it. So there's no reason not to throw it in for that extra damage boost, because even if you're only getting 1, you're still getting 1 damage out of it. Okay. So that is how to make your way through that fight. Like I say, no one asked Larian to buff the Shambling Mound. But since they did, I'm just gonna take advantage of the fact that it was against my wishes and show them up a little bit. So up here, a few things. We'll just pick up a few things. We'll do a little searching up here. There's a diary up here, and again, this talks about the chest that is right across from us. And there's a key here. Now, up here, you're searching all of these. I want to search them all, but I'm probably going to end up taking some necrotic damage here, because I'm probably going to fail some of these saving throws walking through these Shadow Curse vines. Again, I'm not too worried about it all, though. So let's just move in here and start searching, because they all have wood bark. So this is all for crafting bark skin elixirs and that sort of stuff. You're also going to find shadow root sacks for elixirs of viciousness, which are huge, especially later on in the game. The elixir of viciousness, actually I think I've got a couple. I don't yet on me. We'll talk about them when we see them, but you want to be able to craft them, especially for late game. And the Act 2 here is the only place to find these things other than a couple of vendors. Okay, then we can move over to the chest, and that key unlocks this chest. Now, for your heat builds, this ring is an important item. It's not 100% necessary for it, but it is important. This gives you a class action as a bonus action once per short rest to gain 2 turns of heat. This is important because this is one of the few the earliest way that you can get to give yourself a reliable way of doing it. Later on in the game, you're going to find weapons that when you land a hit can gain you heat, but you don't have them yet. There's one that we can get in the Last Light Inn, but still, if you make an attack and you miss, you're not going to gain any heat. The ring here allows you to keep gaining heat on that turn by setting yourself on fire. I'm going to be experimenting with this, just not right now, because I want to take a look at Karlach as a possible heat build. But like I say, right now, I don't want to get into it right now. So down here, a couple of crafting supplies. And we can search the Shambling Mound. Now the Shambling Mound has the Ironwood Club. So the 1d4 Psychic is coming from me. This is a club that has a +1 weapon enchantment. There's also something else about the Ironwood Club, and I apologize, because I just realized, I just remembered this. So I'm gonna go look it up real quick. So pardon the pause here. Oh yeah, that's what it is. The Ironwood Club can benefit from the Shillelagh cantrip from the druid class. You can add additional bludgeoning damage onto this in your with that cantrip. So instead of 1d4 bludgeoning, you're going to be doing 1d4 bludgeoning plus 1d8 plus your wisdom modifier, additional bludgeoning damage. And then the club also uses your spellcasting modifier as for your attack rolls. So since Shillelagh's a druid spell, you're going to be doing this with wisdom. But yeah, that allows you to significantly up the damage of the Ironwood Club to put it on par with a lot of other more high-powered weapons in the game. So it's not something to sleep on. It's just not something that we're going to be focused on, because right now we have builds that don't focus on a lot of melee weapon damage. But we're certainly going to keep it in our camp. Maybe we'll find a use for it later on. So let's go pick up some torches laying around. And we will head back down to meet up with everybody else down here. The reason I keep everybody else down here is if things go bad, you can Misty Step. Okay, camera. You can Misty Step from here down to here. And then you can run and start making your way down this way. And once that's done, you can make your way up onto a couple of the elevated sections where you have to jump to get to them, and nobody can reach you. Okay, so it's an easy way to kind of get out of it. And with your party members here, as everybody, okay, camera, as everybody, all the enemies move down this way, I can possibly attack from behind and kind of split things up if I'd like. So that's kind of why I leave them back here, but hopefully they're not needed at all through any of this. So now looking at our map, we're really left with this area here. So we're going to head back around here and open up a waypoint.
These boots have seen everything.
Real quick.
Hells. The curse has torn open the ground itself.
Someone there.
And we'll do a little bit of
What's in here?
honor mode searching down here, as we always do.
Over there.
Not a whole lot down here. But there's the waypoint. You can jump across here. Oh, jeez. That thing. Okay. And up here, we have a Dwergar that we can access through the roots here. Okay.
No one back home will ever believe this.
Actually, I'm not going to
Well,
worry about it.
hello.
If we're doing cheese, we might as well do cheese, right? And here you have the Grey Scout's Journal. So this is marked as a quest item because this is another reference to the fact that there's another place that you can get to from the Underdark, or from the Shadowlands, and that is the Underdark. And it lets you know about Nier and kind of what was going on down there. It's not a quest item and that you need to use it for something. It's something that lets you know that there are additional quests in another area that is connected to this area that you can go take a look at. Okay, now we're not going to head up this direction. This area is something we're going to save for a little bit until after we've been to the Last Light Inn. Okay, we recognize all of this. This is where we had the encounter with the Drider here at the house. But we have a couple more things that we can go take a look at. There's a wooden chest back here. Some more crafting ingredients. And there's the dirt mound. And then heading back out here, there's another path up this direction. You can search the skeleton here and the bucket. There is an outhouse. Yes, you can sit on the dirty toilet seat. We're going to head up this way first. Again, we'll do some quick searching up here. Then we'll kind of take stock of where we are. So if you read the letter here, you learn about the tieflings. They were leaving the Emerald Enclave, going to Baldur's Gate, take only what you can carry, go through the mountain pass. And that kind of helps.
A pile of belongings, forsaken to the curse, so that their owners could escape with their lives.
You now start to orient yourself. Remember, we came in from the Underdark, from the Grimforge. This is letting you know that there's another way that was in. So if you did come into the Shadowlands from this direction, okay, you came in from the mountain pass, and you would hopefully find the letter on the Dwergar's body, which lets you know that if you came in from the mountain pass, maybe you haven't been into the Underdark. And that note from the Dwergar would let you know that, hey, there's a whole nother section of this thing called the Underdark, which can be explored. Okay, so that's what the hint is for.
Let's see here.
Bored to death by the look of it.
Okay, so now you learn about what the Shadow Curse is doing. The ox just up and died, and then it went crazy and resurrected itself and started to kill everybody around you. So this is kind of your, since there are two ways into this area, this is your introduction to the Shadow Curse if you came in from the mountain pass. Okay, we obviously did not do that. There's a heavy chest up here. Don't forget about it. We'll come back to it.
This beast didn't go down without a fight.
And this is the ox they were talking about. You can see it's shadow cursed undead. So again, this is all the same introduction to the mechanics type of thing that we learned about coming in from the Underdark. And here is where you would come out if you came out through the mountain pass. and that's right here. Okay. So now if you came out from the mountain pass, the first thing you would probably encounter is the convoy here, and we wanted to avoid that. We did not want to do that, so that's why we came in from the Underdark, so that we wouldn't have any chance that we were going to trigger the interaction with that convoy. As the convoy is right here, coming down here and turning this corner, you can sometimes get into the interaction with the goblin here at the corner, and we did not want to do any of that. Okay, whoops. Go back up to the chest.
A quick rummage.
Was too busy orienting everyone. Man, I can't remember where the key for this is. I've picked up so many keys walking around out here that I have no idea if I've picked it up or not. I haven't. That's a good reminder that... Oh, I'm wearing the graceful cloth. Okay, that's why. I was like, why do I have advantage on that? Having a Starian in your party is just easy mode when it comes to sleight of hand checks. So now let's head down here and look at the convoy area. This is where the convoy members are waiting. You can have some interactions with the goblin and with the hyena here to prevent some animal cruelty. And then you sound the lyre, the spider lyre, that
Wretched thing, pull yourself
we are carrying, and the Drider will appear and escort you to Moonrise. Now, there's no conversation option with the Drider here that allows you to convince him to give up the lantern. The only place where you can have that conversation is during the ambush. If you have the Harpers with you during that ambush, the Harpers will take the lantern, and you have to go talk to Isabel to get it. Again, we preferred not to do that. We wanted to get that lantern without having to go talk to Isabel because of the Marcus fight, which I said I wasn't going to do, and then today in the description told you I was going to do. So if you come in this way and have this conversation, you're going to lead... The Drider is going to lead you down to the house, and when you get down to the house, the Harpers are going to be there to ambush you. And then you can choose sides, but again, neither one of those side choices allows you to get that lantern. So that's kind of why we didn't do anything with coming in this direction, because we didn't want to trigger any of this. We wanted to have a foolproof way of getting the lantern. Well, foolproof as far as Bard persuasion goes. Which is fairly foolproof, to get the lantern. We'll do some quick searching down here. There's not going to be a whole lot. There are a bunch of kind of hidden piles of bones sticking around in here, so you can find them. And back out of here is another skeleton with some more thieves' tools. Okay. Let's go, Carlac, move. Thank you. Okay, and then here I'm going to again put my party in hiding and split the group. Now,
Bit of caution never hurt.
this is because of this area here. And this is the last fight that we're going to have before we head into the last light end.
Path lies before me.
So, let me look here real quick. Okay, good. I sometimes forget how I've spec'd out some of my characters, but I have alert with my bard. Okay, there's a severed head in here, which you can pick up. And then out here you can start to see the detection cones. And that's because down here we have the same things. Needle blights, vine blights, that are all congregated down here. And there's actually a lot of them. You'll see once we trigger this off how this is going to work. So we're going to move out here and trust in our initiative. Actually, we might not need to trust in our initiative. Yeah, I'm gonna have to trust in my initiative. Well, maybe not. Wait, do they have perfect sentry? Okay, they have perfect sentry, so it doesn't matter. So let's just start this off. Okay. So we rolled up an initiative. There are 3 needle blights and 3 vine blights. We're a little underpowered on the explosives here to be able to deal with all 3 of them. So we're probably going to have to get into more of a fight with these guys than usual. So let's go ahead. Where are we? The needle blight's kind of hard to see in there. I can target him this way. Okay. So let's throw a slashing flourish ranged here. I can't target him directly that way. Okay. We'll reapply Hex. And now again, I want to move out of line of sight because the vine blights can yank me off of these ledges. See if we can get him as bunched up as possible here. Can he climb? He is good. The last one's way back over there. He's not going to have enough movement to get over here. Okay, so now we have 1 vine blight or needle blight that's pretty hurt. Okay. So we're going to, again, come out here and we're going to use our slashing flourishes to get an attack here and an attack here. Try and hurt this one over here. Okay. So we'll reapply Hex. I think we'll actually do it here. And throw another Slashing Flourish at those two. Okay. So that killed him. Took him down to 26. He's frightened, which is great. He's stuck in place. And again, move out of line of sight. Okay, so again, we'll move back out here. We are going to be taking a short rest after this. And let's see if we can move somewhere. To get them both. Yes. Didn't need the critical miss there. Because now I'm not going to be able to kill him. I didn't expect he was going to be able to move around him. Doesn't really matter, though, I don't think. See if we can get rid of him. Oh, come on. Okay. Then we'll reapply Hex here. Was hoping to be able to kill him with the first one and then frighten him with the second one, but that didn't work. So we're gonna make our way down here. Okay. Let's see if we can lock him in place. I haven't rolled a nat 20 today. Why am I rolling 6s and 4s? I mean, I get the low ground, I get the penalty, but still. Come on.
Hey, good looking. Turn down the fire.
You see how big the arc is on that throw.
Ought to do it.
They won't see me come.
Okay, disadvantage for being too dark.
Need to keep focused.
Which I should have counteracted at the start, or tried to counteract at the start using Shadow Heart. But yeah, and I'm not too worried about this fight. I shouldn't be impatient like that. That would have lit him up with radiating orbs, so I should have done that at the start.
With haste.
Okay, so there's the constrict.
Let's find some prey.
See if we can end it here. Perfect.
Don't touch me.
What's his carry weight like? We have enough.
On my way.
Okay, so we'll move up here and do some searching real quick, and again, probably take a few points of necrotic damage here and there. We won't have to be using the pitchfork for much longer to start off Karlach's attacks. But I'll give it back to her.
Oh, for a skeleton key.
Okay, what all those 4s and 6s were like a preemptive for the nat 20 to make up for a nat 20 I hadn't rolled yet? Okay.
I'll just help myself.
Alright. Ah, we didn't take any damage. Okay, so we'll make our way down inside here. And we have a headless corpse here. I thought Astarion had it. He does. Okay, we'll just put it back where it came from. I don't know of any hidden technique or something that goes along with that. With the decapitated head and the headless corpse. I could be very wrong. So I haven't actually looked very much at it. But I don't think there is. But if there is, please let me know in the chat. I'd love to highlight it here if there is. Okay, there are a bunch of piles of bones down here. Some of them are fairly well hidden. There's nothing really worthwhile in any of this. But again, just more stuff that we can sell later on. And then down here we do have a gilded chest, and this has the frost prints in it. So something else I'm going to give to Gale, but it allows you to cast Ice Knife as a once per short rest thing, which again for a cold build that we would end up doing with Gale, that can be very useful early game. Yeah, Lord Henry, I didn't think that there was. I hadn't explored it much, but I think that maybe is a little bit of a missed opportunity from Larian there, but it might have actually been something that they thought about doing, because like I say, the head is just sitting there. It's very obvious, and then the headless corpse is right down below it, so it might have been something that they actually had a plan for. Because you can't cast Speak with the Dead on mutilated corpses. But maybe there was something planned where you could put the head back into the corpse's inventory and then you were able to cast Speak with the Dead on it or something like that. So it might have just been an unfinished set of content. Then again, I could just be reading a whole lot more into it than it really is, and it's just an item. So. Okay, and now if we take a look at our map, you can see we've opened up almost everything there is to do, and that's just this little section here. So let's head back down the road and we'll take a look at that, and then we're going to head to the Last Light Inn, and we're going to get into another fight over there, which, if you don't prep for it, is incredibly dangerous. But thankfully we know how to prep for it. I think everybody can make this jump.
These war implements could go in a museum if they weren't half rotten. A century old, I'd say.
And you're picking up a little more lore about what happened here to cause all of this. Centuries old is correct. You learned about the fight between the Harpers, the Druids, and
Trust no one.
Ketheric, and the Sharan forces. It took place over a century ago, that Jaheira and Halsin were a part of. So we knew that was happening, and this is all just more evidence of it.
This way.
Okay, you got a couple more things to take a look at.
Let's hope for gold.
And here's a heavy chest. This one you don't have to lockpick. Some arrows, nice. And that should finish opening up all of the map on the east side. Like I say, the House Deep in Shadows we're going to save. It's part of a quest that we're going to go open up. So let's, I guess, save us a little bit of time. We're going to head to the Last Light Inn.
Keep it together.
We're going to
I'll
do
sit
a couple of things with vendors when we get here, but we are going to very quickly run out of money. And I mean very quickly run out of money. So when we do that, we're going to head off and take care of a couple of other things. And one of those is going to include a fight
protected.
as we start to explore
Must
this.
be the
So,
refuge the
a couple
Harpers
things that I
spoke
want
of.
to do before I go in here. We're probably carrying multiples of a bunch of things. The shovels don't matter because... But yeah, I want to split these. I don't want to be carrying around a bunch of thieves' tools. And I normally only carry 3... trap, disarm, kids. If things are stacked in your inventory, you're not able to sell, you're not able to split them while you're in the sell screen. So like candles, I only need one of them. So I want to make sure that all these other items here that I'm carrying I can easily sell off. Okay, so that's it. Now we're going to head in here, and I need to make sure that I'm... Okay, so nothing here. So now you see Lysandra. These are the Harpers that we got into the very first fight we had when we came into the Shadow Curse lands. They have made their way down to the Last Light. you can actually follow with them, take advantage of their torches, and stay with their group all the way here, and they will lead you right here to this point. We wanted to take a different path, and we're still ending up here at the same time. There's only one thing that if you go to Moonrise Towers first, changes here in the Last Light Inn, other than dialogue. There's a couple of dialogue options where you have the choice to say, I've already been to Moonrise, which wouldn't be there otherwise. But other than that, there's only one other thing that is changed, which eliminates an NPC interaction. But in my mind, it's actually a good thing to eliminate it. We'll explain that as we get further through this.
No shadows here. Something must be keeping it at bay.
You there! Step forward and keep your hands off your weapons.
Easy. She's with me.
Come. Jaheira!
It seems tales of my clemency have been greatly exaggerated. You're about to. This is why we're here, you see. It is a curious creature that hides all manner of secrets. But if there's one thing that we know, it's that it knows its own kind. You should never have come here, true soul.
Stop! What's you doing? She's the one who saved us!
She's the one who protected the Emerald Grove.
Yup. Didn't leave a goblin standing. Not so bad to hang around with either. Saved two of my friends. One from a harpy, and one from a mad druid with a snake. Didn't make a fuss about thieving either. I'd pretty much trust her with my life.
A true soul with a mind of her own? How is that possible? What in the hells is that thing? Congratulations. You've earned yourself the benefit of the doubt. Hear me, Harpers. All clear. At ease. I'll not pretend to understand what that artifact is. But I'm old and wise enough to recognize a sliver of hope when it crawls out of the dark. Tell me, why have you come here? Then you found an ally in me. For that is precisely why I am here. There's food in the inn over there. Beds too if you require rest. Aloe oil in the cupboard, in case the vines gave you a rash. Settle in. Then come join me for a drink. You may just be the godsend we've been praying for. Dammon might be knocking around
Okay,
here, right?
so the famous Jaheira from Baldur's Gate 2 is now here making a reappearance, and that makes me extraordinarily happy.
I wish we had.
So the Last Light Inn has a bunch of things that you can do. And first, we're going to do a couple of quick little picking up of things that are not marked as steel.
I don't.
A lot of things over here are, so be careful what you're clicking on.
How's the barricade coming along?
And I know
Very
Karlach
pretty,
wants to talk to
but it
us.
can take a beating. It'll need it.
Hey, anything explosive? Again, we're picking up.
Over here.
Up here, don't forget there's a light crossbow +1 that you can pick up and sell.
This place gives me the creeps.
Seen alleyways in Baldur's Gate that are plenty worse in their way.
Yeah?
Outside narrows and
Look, this is heavy.
And let's talk to Karlach.
Oh my god, soldier. That's Jaheira. The Jaheira. Don't you know the whole story? Years ago, over a century, Jaheira was part of a group that saved Baldur's Gate from Saravok, a Baalspawn trying to plunge the city into war. My mum used to tell us stories about them. The legends who protected the city from evil. She said Jaheira was a powerful druid. Adamant. Tough. I've told myself those stories 1,000 times since. I never thought I'd meet Jaheira. She's a hero, and I was always some outer city kid. Can't believe she wants to talk to us about working together. What a day!
So, not just the fangirl moment that's cool about that, but Larian paying homage to the history of this game from 20 years ago with Baldur's Gate 2. That obviously was not their game.
Yeah.
That was
where that
BioWare.
came
They didn't develop it, but it is part of the canon of where this came from.
Steel.
And paying homage going back to that game is really, really cool.
I wish we had
For those people who weren't even alive when, geez, I'm old, when Baldur's Gate 2 came out and didn't have the opportunity to play it, they might not know about any of this. And the connections, like I say, they're really cool to see. So, we have a few things that we can do here before we head into the Last Light Inn itself.
It ain't pretty.
And we're going to make a couple of trips to and from camp
Cleric's magic
here
won't hold out the darkness forever.
to do a couple of things. But first, I'm going to just, well, I guess it doesn't matter if I take everybody together. I'm going to head into the actual inn and go have a quick conversation
This place gives
before
me
I
the
begin
creeps.
all of the back and forth to camp stuff that we're going to have to do.
Better not be cursed.
So I'm going to go over to this door.
Premium trinkets and
Now,
doodah.
heading to Moonrise, I told you it eliminated an interaction, and it did. Floric is normally here. If you venture to the Last Light Inn first, Floric is here. If Floric is here, it's good to have Will in your party, because you can learn a little bit more about Will's father and what Floric is intending to do here. Instead, she's left a letter that does the exact same thing. It explains where things are. You just don't have the cutscene with Floric. Everything else about what's happening in here is unchanged. So we're going to go over and have a quick conversation with Fist Jalar here. And before we do this,
Have a gap.
we have proficiency in medicine. This is a wisdom check here for us. I don't think...
Don't burn yourself.
we have anything that gives us anything else
Can't stop me yet.
on the on the wisdom checks, but we are going to mask the shapeshifter here. And I don't think I have any rings or anything that boost medicine. I don't believe. I think the only things that we have, it was like nature and survival and that sort of stuff. Okay. But we are going to have a medicine check here. You don't have to pass it.
All right. What now? I should speak up.
Flame Cullough. That's your name, isn't it? Art Cullough? I'm Fistula.
Nathaniel and me climbing up a tree.
We need you, sir. One of our own's been taken, a Grand Duke. You might know something that could help us bring him back.
We found him out in the shadows, just wandering. Nothing survives out there for long. Don't know how he made it, or where he came from.
This is no physical ailment. It is a spiritual malaise. The man's mind has been gripped by the Shadowfell, yet it has not broken.
Really? Could you bring him here? You'd be glad of the help, wouldn't you, sir?
Okay, so I'm going to postpone the rest of this until I come back here from camp, because these things tend to reset once you bring Halsin back here. So, but that gets us a progression or a brand new quest to wake up our Cullough. We need to talk to Halsin about it and lifting the Shadow Curse. So we're going to head back to
Another step forward.
camp. While we're here, we're going to do a few things. So the first is talk to Halsin.
You wish to speak? He is? Then I must see him. Insensible or not, he knows something. I will go to see him at once. Join me when you can.
Okay, and he's going to disappear. We're going to find him again, obviously, back at camp, or back at the Last Light Inn. The second thing, and now I've completely lost my train of thought. Oh, yes. It's like, geez, what? My mind just completely went blank there. Okay, let's pick up some other stuff that we can sell while we're here. Forgot we had some of this stuff still in here, and we can sell off, trust me, any of these magic items that we want. I don't think we necessarily need to at this point yet, but we certainly will, because you are, like I say, there's not enough gold in this game for what you want to do. We have two things here. We have an infernal iron and we have an infernal alloy. Those are two very different things, and you will see what I mean by that here in a second. And I don't know if we actually picked them up or not. We did. We probably sold them off already. I know we picked them up, but we probably just sold them off. The gold foil masks. Oh, we have a bunch of stuff to sell off. Oh, I love this character. Thank you so much. I had completely forgotten that we had a bunch of stuff in trash bags, which is amazing. Oh, yes, this is so great. Okay. Let's look for devil foil masks in here real quick. Because they might still be... Whoops. They might still be in here. But like I say, we might have just sold them. Oh, there's so much gold here. So much gold here. I'm actually going to be able to buy everything I want. Oh, this is awesome. I love this. My personal playthrough, I'm so short. My personal honor mode playthrough, I'm so short on gold. Okay, so I don't see any there. So let's load everybody up. I mean, everybody. Okay, so can't carry any more there. Okay, we'll take what we can there. Who's got the Club of Hill Giant Strength? Shadowheart does. Sorry, I'm like a kid on Christmas morning with all of this stuff I get to sell. This is so awesome.
What's next?
Did I get it all? No. Still have a little bit left. Perfect. Oh, I love this.
Breathing,
okay.
everything.
So now, going to grab a Starian. Probably should have done this before I loaded myself up, but I was just, I was a little too eager for it. So we'll head over here, we'll put a Starian in hiding.
Radio note.
Look at Withers. Pickpocket the gold.
Don't mind if I do.
What to do? Moving ahead.
And now we'll go talk to Withers.
I want to have a word.
I just love it because there's literally thousands of gold here, and I'm going to be able to buy everything from the vendors, I think.
Thou hast now a bosom companion. Take care that thou art not distracted on thy quest, seeking the comforts of the flesh. Recall that in time, all becomes dust and bone. Thy wheel of fate turn. Dost thou require a new ally? Or mayhaps a resurrect?
Okay, so we're going to change my class. And all I'm going to do is again start off with Bard. I'm not going to do anything else for now. There are 3 vendors that we want to talk to in here. One of them we already have a 100 attitude with, so we won't have to do anything there. But 2 others, we want to up their attitude before we begin purchasing stuff. And we're going to set ourselves back to level 1 here. And now we're going to head back to the Last Light Inn and do a couple of things. So, again, Halsin is now here, but I need to, I'm going to progress this a little bit before we do this.
Maybe not, Mom.
So, And yes, as Lord Henry mentioned, we're going over here and we're going to go talk to Barcus first.
We need to talk.
Last night's best bargains, right here.
I'll tell him you said so. Ah, you found your way. Good. I thought I'd scout ahead, check for any nasty surprises, of which I found a great deal. Shades, death, harpers, flaming fist, and this, of course, and the makings of an alchemist's workbench. Ingredients, too. There's a recipe I'm trying to replicate. Something that might help you. That is, if you're still going to help Wulbren and the others. In that case, you'll be very pleased to learn what I have in store for you. A new type of smoke powder. All the bang and boom of the original, but with an extra surprise. I call it the Brilliant Retort. You'll need it if you're going to survive this cursed place. You'll need it if you're going to get into Moonrise Towers and help the Deep Gnomes taken prisoner there. You'll need it if you're going to save Wulbren. Let's call a thing a thing. A Deep Gnome won't get far into the Absolute's orgy of evil. We already learned that in the Underdark with those sadistic Dwergar, didn't we? It's doubly true in this place. You, on the other hand, have proven resourceful in such infiltrations. I'll do my part according to my talents. And you, I hope, will do yours. The Brilliant Retort will aid you. Thus, I will make it. Unless you've got access to a 300-year-old Tempusian apothecarial almanac? No. But that's for me to worry about. You do whatever it is you do. Some of us are counting on you.
Okay, so we're going to talk to Barcus again.
What now?
You can ask him if it's ready. It's not going to be. We're going to trade.
Sure you would.
Okay, now this is our first opportunity to up Barcus's attitude, if we would like, and we can certainly do that. Barcus normally sells some fairly important things, and one of those being smoke powder bombs. Smoke powder bombs are incredibly useful in the late game. Incredibly useful in the late game. This Barcus is a way to stock up on those, and that's why we're actually going to spend some of our hard-earned gold here to up his attitude. Not because he has enough stuff that would cost us more than 1,600 gold, which is what we need to justify it, but because we can come back here and keep buying these, and as many as we're going to buy with our level ups, it would cost us more than 1,600 gold, and so it makes sense to up his attitude. He has some dies, which are actually some decent ones, but then it's really these three items here that you want to take a look at. The Ring of Geniality is what Lord Henry was referencing. This allows you to get a Persuasion +1. Persuasion is what ups your discount. The higher persuasion you have, the higher discount you're going to get, up to a maximum of a minus 150%. So this helps up that, so you get better prices on both buying and selling. So we're definitely going to buy that. The Acrobat shoes are meh. There's nothing really, outstanding about them. The thing that I do want to check here, though, is that it says it gives you advantage on dexterity saving throws, and then it has the word checks after. So I'm not entirely sure if the Acrobat shoes give you advantage on dexterity checks, like sleight of hand. I've never actually checked that. With only 88 gold, it's worth it for me just to buy them anyway. The last thing is the gloves of the automaton. Now this is a very important piece of gear for your martial classes in the early going of the game here in Act 2. The Gloves of the Automaton give you circuitry interface. You are considered a construct. Now, where that's important is when it comes to, and I don't know if she's carrying it. She's not carrying it. It's back in camp. The last light that we got, or the light of creation that we got from killing Bernard, has a 1d6 lightning damage rider to it. If you are an or it always has it, but that bonus comes with a downside in that it can stun you if you are not an automaton. These gloves lets you become a construct, so that whole get stunned by the attack goes away. So now you can use the light of creation freely whenever you want. But the arguably bigger thing is that your weapon attack rolls have advantage. That is, all weapon attack rolls have advantage. Resistance to lightning damage is great, but by far the biggest thing here is that as soon as you activate this, and it's once per short rest, it's a bonus action as well, so you can activate it before you go into combat. Your weapon attack rolls are going to have advantage for 10 turns. That's longer than any fight's going to last, for the most part. And you'll have advantage on every attack you make. The Gloves of the Automaton are incredibly strong early on, and even, through some portions of the later game, especially when you have high armor class enemies that are hard to hit. The thing about becoming a construct, though, a lot of people don't realize until the first time they try it, you cannot be healed if you are a construct. So potions of healing being thrown at you have no effect. Healing word, cure wounds, none of those things are going to work on you because you don't have flesh and bone anymore. You're considered a construct. So that's the downside to these, is that you cannot be healed once circuitry interface is active. Now, the good thing is you can cancel circuitry interface. So if you get into a situation where you've got it triggered and then you're suddenly taking a bunch of damage and you need emergency healing, you can turn this off at any time you want without using an action or bonus action, and then you're available to be healed again. So the Gloves of the Automaton being 1,000 gold puts me most of the way toward 1,400. Adding in this, we're 1,100, 1,200, buying all three of these for 120. We're already getting really close to the 1,400 limit where you'd save gold if you're going to be upping the attitude. So since I'm going to be buying a bunch of smoke powder bombs, probably off stream, I will do some of that later on today after we're done. I'm definitely going to up his attitude. So for that, I'm going to give him 400 gold. That ups his attitude to 100, and now where it was 1,000 gold to buy this, it's 800. So I've already, made back 200 gold out of that 400 that I gave him. So that's why that magic number is, or I take that back, the magic number is 1,600. If I said 1,400 earlier, I apologize. The magic number is 1,600 gold. So we don't want to buy anything or sell anything from him right now. Our persuasion is still too low. We want to up that, but we have another vendor that we want to talk to.
Don't be shy. Have a gander at the finest stock.
We don't want to talk to Mattis yet.
Yes. Until Jaheira gives me reason.
Two steps in, and you're likely to become Dagger's new sheath.
Ain't my neck of the woods.
Count your lucky stars.
So let's go out here and talk to Quartermaster Talli.
Jaheira wants to know about
There's going to be a
supplies.
persuasion check here.
Burning through our oil, but
I'm pretty sure I can make it even without my persuasion skills
just about.
being
We shouldn't hang around too
full
long,
up.
though.
Yeah. There's more where that came from.
But even if we don't, it doesn't matter. It's just some camp supplies. And we're not going to buy anything from Quartermaster Talli either.
Stock up while you can. I only hope I've brought enough to see us through.
Here's the persuasion check. Oh, I have disadvantage on this because I'm heavily encumbered, so let's not do it yet. I can push it off. Now, Talli has a bunch of stuff that we want to buy. just a bunch. First, I want to pick up the Javelin +1 for Karlach. So she has a +1 weapon to hit for her first thrown attack out of combat, as opposed to her having to have regular javelins, or in this case right now the pitchfork or something like that. At least she can gain a little bit extra to hit and to damage with that first attack by picking this up. This is only because of the throwing build that we have here. The Defender Great Axe is actually a really good early game weapon for your two-handed great weapon builds. It's a +2 weapon, however, on that first attack you make, you can change it to a +1 weapon in exchange for increasing your armor class and saving throws by 1. Now this only works in combat, unfortunately, so you're not able to gain a +1 to saving throw bonus when you're out of combat, like when you're trying to pass, you know, for instance, the Zaithisk or something like that. But to up your armor class by 1 in exchange for it being a +1 weapon, it's basically makes it 5% harder for you to hit somebody and makes it 5% harder for them to hit you. So that's the trade-off with it. But it's actually a really good early game weapon to have. The Incandescent Staff, a ranged spell attack +1 is really nice. That works with all sorts of spells and cantrips. So your Eldritch Blast and that sort of stuff. It's a +1 bonus to your attack roll that you need for it. Gaining resistance to fire damage is useful, and it allows you a once per long rest cast of Fireball. Firebolt, if you don't have it as a cantrip, this gives it to you. And it's as a cantrip, you can cast it whenever you want. But a free cast of Firebolt is certainly nice to have. The Hat of Uninhibited Kashigo is a monk-based item. However, it is more suited to a monk multi-class, in that after dealing damage with an unarmed attack, the wearer gains a +1 bonus to their spell save DC until the end of their turn. So if you are an arcane trickster rogue monk build or something like that, you can really do some serious damage with your fear spells and things like that by adding another +1 to the spell save DC to be able to do those things. So it's actually really nice. You can start off your first attack with your bonus action and use your key points to land a flurry of blows, and then use your action to cast a spell that could, you know, help AoE debilitate a bunch of enemies. So for a straight monk, not incredibly useful because they don't use spells, but for a monk multi-class, very, very useful. The Barkskin armor is rare medium armor with a 12 armor class. However, it's not a 12 armor class because when you have it on, you have the effect of Barkskin, which increases your armor class to 16. So with a 16 and then a +2 bonus from dexterity for medium armor, you can really up your druid type of classes in their armor class here by quite a bit by utilizing the Barkskin armor. The obsidian laced robe is basically like Hellish Rebuke, except it's with saving throws. So on a successful saving throw against a foe spell, you deal 3 to 6 fire damage. That's 1d4 +2 of fire damage back to them. It grants you resistance to fire damage, which is also nice, but again, situational. The Shade Clinger armor is While obscured, you have advantage on saving throws. That's all saving throws. If you're fighting in darkness a lot, this can be very, very useful. Granting stealth +1 is nice, but again, not really a big thing. The Mighty Cloth is your barbarian clothing here. Just like the Cat's Grace armor for your monks and or rogues, this is a piece of clothing that lets you take advantage of your unarmored defense while also increasing your strength score by 2 to a maximum of 20. You cannot be pushed against your will, which is very nice, and you have advantage on saving throws against being restrained. So this works very well in this first portion of Act 2 when you're going up against the Blights and that sort of stuff. It also gives you Bull Rush once per turn. This is not a per rest thing. You can use this class action at any time you want. You charge forward and possibly knock your foes back 3 meters. Available only when raging. So this is why I say this is your barbarian type of clothing. Very, very nice for your strength-based barbarian builds that you have. The 1T scale mail is simply the best medium armor for your high dexterity characters in the game. This is where you are with your rogue builds and high dexterity bard builds and that sort of stuff. Me, with the Helldusk armor, we're obviously better than that. But normally you don't have the Helldusk armor right now, so the 1T scale mail is going to carry you through to the end game, basically, until you get something a little bit better. Because you can add your full dexterity modifier to your armor class. It does not impose disadvantage on stealth checks, which especially for your Gloomstalker rogues, where you're trying to stay in stealth for that alpha strike damage with ranged attacks before they find you, this armor really helps that out. The +1 bonus to initiative rolls is always nice. The Cloak of Protection, just buy it. There's no reason not to. You will use this until the very end of the game. Armor class +1, saving throw +1 on a cloak, just get it. End of story. The Shield of Devotion, you gain 1 level 1 spell slot, which can actually be really useful. You get some level 1 spells that you can cast, like Guiding Bolt, for instance, for Shadowheart, which can have a lot of other effects that go along with it. So gaining an additional cast of those is nice. Shield Bash we've seen, but it also allows you to cast Aid. Level 3. So you heal yourself and increase your hit point maximum by 10 points. So if you don't have a way to increase your hit points right now, because we don't have access to things like Hero's Feast and that sort of stuff, Aid is a great way to do that, and this allows you to cast it kind of at the start of your day, and then change out the shield to something else if you don't want to use it. The Cinder Snap gloves, okay. They're just situational in that it allows you to cast protection from missiles once per short rest. It takes an action to do that. And it basically protects you, it makes you harder to hit from range, and the damage that you take from them is halved. Gloves of the Ballast Hand is for your 2-weapon fighting builds. This is a must-have. When you make an attack with your offhand weapon, you can add your ability modifier to the damage of the attack. This is dual wielder feat. Well, a lot of the perks of the dual wielder feat without having to take the feat. Normally you can't add your ability modifier to the damage on your offhand attack unless you've taken the dual wielder feat. This allows you to do that utilizing an item, which is really, really good. Amulet of the Harpers, again, just buy it. It's a free cast of shield once per long rest. So it's a reaction. So when you're about to be hit by an enemy, increase your armor class by 5, and you take no damage from magic missile at all. So it's something that you can just put on a character. If you're out of reactions for casting improved warding flare or something like that, shield is available for you to use. A bunch of stuff here that we want to use. All of it's expensive. 2,000 gold for a robe, 2,400 for the scale mail, 26 for the Mighty Cloth. So we absolutely want to deal with upping hers, and I have looked and I don't have enough gold to do that. So I need to waste a little bit of gold here, it looks like, to do it. Because I need to get up to 400 before I can do this. I don't think I left any gold at camp. Let's just go check, just to make sure. I did not. So yeah, we need to waste some gold here. Not a whole lot. It's only 81 or so. Gold. We can minimize a little bit of that by... Well, we won't. We'll just do it. 81
if
gold
you're
I'm not too
alright
worried
by
about.
Jaheira, you're alright by me.
So, what you do when you're trying to... And Lord Henry actually just said it. What we want to do is try and find items that are worth only 1 gold. Because you can't sell items for less than 1 gold. You're always going to get a minimum of 1 gold for them. So those are, we want to try and find 82 of those, if we have them, in our inventory to be able to use. Once we run out of those, because we might not have that many, but once we run out of them, like I say, I don't have any problem using the other things. But we got a bunch of these items laying around here. All of these bottles and all that sort of stuff, all of these buckets that are all worth 1 gold. And it says 10 and that sort of stuff. That's just because we're carrying multiples of them. But we might be able to get pretty close. And this is another benefit of the trash. Because all of this trash here, probably too many. 80, we need 82. And we need 2 more right there. Okay, now we're going to give her all that gold back. That's 400. That ups her attitude to 100. The last vendor, we already have 100 attitude. So now I'm going to go through my level up again. And things are going to change a little bit with my bard here. So spells, level 1, doesn't matter. Again, here, I don't rush through this one because of the skills change here. Again, because of how we've played this, we don't have Auntie Ethel's hair. Survival, perception, acrobatics. My spells here, calm emotions, we have to have it. Knowledge of swords, dueling. Replace spell, we're going to pull out the one we picked at level 1. We're going to add in invisibility. Okay, at level 4 we're going to have our feat. Now this is going to be the only feat that our bard is going to have. So I would normally pick actor here, but I'm not. I need the alert feat for what we're going to be doing here in a little bit. And I want Mage Hand because I want to test something. So here we'll take Glyph of Warding. Level 6, we get our extra attack from the College of Swords. We're going to take Plant Growth. And level 7, we make our change. Adding in Warlock. We're going to get rid of Blade Ward and put in Bone Chill. Subclass is the great old one. For our spells, we definitely want Hex, Hellish Rebuke. And then, just like last time, we want to make sure that our Eldritch Invocations, we have Devil Sight and Repelling Blast. And for here, I'm going to take Tasha's. There's a reason for that. I normally wouldn't use it, and I'll get rid of it on a respec. But there's a reason for that. Okay, and now I'm just going to take my main character back in here to Barcus.
Premium trinkets and doodahs.
And pick up the Ring of Geniality. Because now our persuasion is much higher. So I will buy the Ring of Geniality first to up my persuasion even more.
Do you trust Jaheira? With my life. Then give it time. We will see victory yet.
Last night's best bargains, right here.
What now? I'm sure you would.
Okay. Oh, I need to offset that. All right. I forgot. I need to offset that with more trash. I've got a bunch more trash, though. The buckets, the cups, the bones. There we go.
Now, if you're done rifling through my things.
And now we will equip the Ring of Geniality that we just bought here. Move. That's probably the best place for it. So now our persuasion is up to 10. And all of that's going to help us. So here with Barcus.
What now? I'm sure you would.
I'm going to buy the items that I want here. 653, and start selling off everything else while we're doing this. And don't forget I have all these +1 items here, because Barcus doesn't have a whole lot of gold normally. Okay. Need another 500. Okay, so what do we have left? 163. So these two, that would be 114. think that's exactly it. Yes, it is. Okay. We'll barter
If
those
you're
items.
done rifling through my things.
Finest stock.
Oh, forgot the...
What now? I'm sure you would.
And like I said, I'm gonna go do this off stream. But oh, I didn't stock him this time. He doesn't have the smoke powder bombs.
Now, if you're
So
done
normally I would have
rifling
done it
through
during my
my
level up.
guns,
But like I say, I'll go do that off stream. It's like I say, not the most engaging gameplay for y'all to be sitting here watching me click on stuff in the vendors. So
Jaheira wants to know about supplies. Will we make it home?
Burning through our oil, but...
So we'll go over here with Talli.
Just about.
Just about. We shouldn't hang around too long, though.
And then after we finish this up, we're gonna go get into a fight. 2 fights, actually.
If you're all right by Jaheira, you're all right by me.
Okay, so here we can take the persuasion check now.
Cheeky. But, since you're asking,
That gets you a camp supply pack.
if you're all right by Jaheira, you're all right by me.
So now again here, let's go ahead and get rid of everything else that we are carrying. Talli normally has a lot of gold. And we're going to take every single bit of it. Oh, don't forget that I have some items in here. I don't need the, well, I'll keep it. I may use it off stream. So nothing else down here. And now again with Karlach. Don't want to get rid of the Everburn Blade. We do have all the Githyanki weapons here. And yes, I know I'm over her offer value, but she has so many thousands worth of gold that we're going to be buying that I'm going to offset this by quite a ways. Okay, nothing through all of that. This one. Okay, and then all of these. Iron crossbow will keep just for role-playing purposes. Okay, so now let's start clicking over things that we definitely want. So, cloak protection, absolutely must have it. Where is... Oh, she's not selling a javelin +1 this go around. I'll have to come back for it. The Shield of Devotion, Mighty Cloth. And I don't think we have any need for 1T right now, but I'm going to hold off on it. We don't have any need for the incandescent staff right now, so I'll again hold off on it. I do want the arrows of many targets though. And I'm offering $57.93, so I guess I might as well buy it, because she's not offering enough to make up for where we are. So I probably... Oh, the Amulet of Harpers I definitely want. And I think that's really it for now. So let's just pull out a couple of high armors here. $55, $53. $46. One piece of trash. There we go. Perfectly evened out.
Take care now.
And now we're going to group everybody up and we're going to head over here and have another conversation. Karlach should be in your party when you have this conversation.
This place gives me the creeps.
And that's with Dammon.
Karlach, I thought you'd be in the city by now. We were ambushed by cultists. Half of us were captured, the other half ran here.
Off the anvil into the forge. We'll find them. Hopefully.
Before you run off into the belly of the beast, there's something I need to tell you. Well, two things. Good news and bad news.
The good news, obviously.
I only need one more piece of infernal iron to craft an insulating chamber that can make it possible for Karlach to...
Touch people!
Exactly!
Oh my god. It's really happening. It's been so long. We've got the iron. Let's do this thing!
Hang on! I think you'll want to hear the bad news too.
Yeah, sure. But first, fix me. Please.
Well, all right. This shouldn't take long.
You need to have a piece of infernal iron in your inventory for this to work. It will not pull it from your camp chest. It will say, if you try and give it to him, he will say that you don't have it, and he'll ask you to bring it to him.
Same as last time. You'll need to install it yourself. This should do the trick.
There. So did it work?
Only one way to find out.
Thank you. I can't believe it. Thank you, Dammon. Thank you so much.
It's the least I could do. Before you go, there's something I need to tell you. That engine of yours, it's contained for the moment, but it's just too hot to exist here in the material plane indefinitely. I know you know that, but the thing is, there's a cure. I wasn't making any headway with the mechanics, none at all. The environment here is just too cold to sustain metals like the ones inside you. You have to return to Avernus. For good. Or this thing is going to burn you up from the inside out. And sooner than you think.
The minute I set foot back in Avernus, Zarya will force me back into service. I'm not doing her bidding again. I'd rather die.
I get that, but don't rule it out. The world just might be better with you in it. Even in Avernus. I won't stop trying to figure out a cure, but at this point, I think we all have to face the inevitable.
Right? All this doom and gloom. I have something far more exciting on my mind than this bloody tin box. Thanks, Dammon. Really. You've given me more than I could ever repay.
It's been my pleasure. Good luck, both of you. Look after yourself, all right?
Okay, and that's going to advance the quest, the Hellions Heart. Let's talk to Karlach real quick.
This is the best day. The best day! I'm so happy for me too. Now I just need to find someone to cuddle up to tonight, and I'll be the happiest woman on the Sword Coast. I'm not sure. Depends who's got me in mind. Withers was giving me the old eye the other night. Then again, maybe it was just an old eye. Listen, I'm never going back. If you said I could die right now, or live 1,000 years in the Hells, I'd choose to go out now with my freedom intact. I don't expect anyone to understand that. But I've been dealt a hand most people don't have to contemplate playing. Thanks, soldier. Your support means I've got one less thing to worry about. That means a lot to me. You really are the best of the best. Of the best.
Okay, so now let's talk to Dammon again. That removed the... That's going to be interesting. I hope they didn't mess that up. Let's go talk to Dammon first.
Glad you and Karlach are all right. Well, as all right as any of us. A makeshift Harper's Fire might not be where I hope to set up shop. But maybe I've got something you can use anyway. And if you find any interesting materials in need of working, I'm happy to help. I hesitated to mention this back in the Druid's Grove, for obvious reasons. But no one has earned my trust, if not you. When Elturel was dragged into Avernus, I was drafted into a devil's smithy. It should have been awful. But infernal metal is like a wild horse. Powerful, exuberant. It'll kill you if you lack technique. I can sense some. Smell it almost. Somewhere in the area. Underground, maybe. Out there in the shadows. If you find it, bring it to me. I'll make something incredible.
Okay, so we still have the option here. You're going to have two options here. And I'm not entirely sure if this is intended or not. If you picked up the Infernal Alloy, which is a completely different item than Infernal Iron, from the Grimforge by talking to the stonemason Kith down there and passing all of his observation checks, you get this option in dialogue here. You found this piece of metal in a place called the Grimforge. What do you make of it? This is meant to refer to the Infernal Alloy. That was used to make Karlach's heart, and I was hoping it didn't mess this up. We're going to see here in a minute if it messed it up or not, but we're going to click on this option, not this option here. This refers to regular Infernal Iron. So we're going to click on this first.
Absolutely. Rare to get your hands on this stuff. Well done keeping it to hand. careful who you show that to. It might draw the wrong kind of attention.
Now, we're going to get the flawed Helldusk armor out of that. We're not going to worry about it yet. We're going to
Need
talk to him
anything?
again. And yes, it still is here. The Infernal Alloy, like I say, is different than the Infernal Iron. Normally, you would have to collect multiple pieces of Infernal Iron to get all of these items from Dammon. And there are a total of 3 of them to get from him. The Infernal Alloy gives you the option to get all 3 of them for basically no cost, or just the cost of that one Infernal Alloy.
It's perfect. Really. Just a moment, I'll be able to work this one quickly. There you are. And be careful who you show that to. It might draw the wrong kind of attention.
That got us the helmet.
Need anything?
Well, well, well. I knew I smelled something, and I know just what to do with it. One moment. There you are. And be careful who you show that to. It might draw the wrong kind of attention.
That got us the gloves.
Need anything?
And now when you talk to Dammon, there's nothing else. Okay, he's able to craft those 3 things. There are no boots that go along with the flawed Helldusk set. Okay, but now we can see what Dammon has for sale. And this is going to include all the other items that we've previously sold him. But his attitude is still 100. So again, let's sell or push everything in that we have that we want to get rid of. And you see we still have that piece of unused Infernal Iron in our inventory. Okay, and I think that's everything. Yes. Okay, so Dammon has one of the most important items for a Warlock / Eldritch Knight, and that's the Chargebound Warhammer. The 1d6 lightning bonus damage writer is incredibly hard to get this early in the game. The Light of Creation is the only other one that has it. Most of the damage writers you're going to get are 1d4 bonuses. Having a 1d6 here is incredibly nice. You have to be able to bind it as a pact weapon, which we can't do just yet. We could sacrifice our extra attack and drop our bard to level 5 and up our warlock to level 3. However, the damage wouldn't offset because we're losing our extra attack with it. So this is really going to be swapped over to be my bard's main weapon at level 9. Once we level up, we will change out to the Chargebound Warhammer, because when it becomes a pact weapon, you become proficient with it. So right now I'm not proficient with it at all, but as soon as I bind it, I get a +1 bonus to damage and attack rolls. I gain an extra 1d6 lightning damage to go along with it, and I become proficient with it, so I can add my proficiency bonus to the attacks. It's an incredibly useful weapon for my bard build early on in the game, so we're definitely going to pick it up. The Darkfire Shortbow is just amazing. Being able to cast haste once per long rest for the 10-turn version of haste, and anybody in your party can cast it, as long as they have this bow equipped, is incredibly useful. So that's going to leave me down to 400 gold here. And now for the rest of the stuff that Dammon has. Most of the armors that he has are all just going to be +1 and +2 armors. Nothing spectacular about them. The Sword of the Clutching Umbra. I'm of two minds about this. The Shadow-Soaked Blow is really nice. It allows you to add your proficiency bonus to the damage, and if it hits, it deals 1d6 psychic damage. Now again, that's a 1d6 damage rider. The two things about this, the great thing is that this attack does not break concealment. So for your rogue builds, this being a short sword, light and finesse, you can dual wield it, that doesn't break concealment. This is incredibly nice. However, it's only once per short rest. So again, situationally, it can be very, very useful for that sneak attack type of build. The Sword of Life Stealing goes right along with your crit hit builds. On a critical hit, the target takes an extra 10 necrotic damage, and you gain 10 temporary hit points. So again, a light and finesse weapon that you can dual wield. The next item is for your heat builds. This is your first access to a weapon where you can gain heat. So now with your regular action, you are able to build up heat. If you have multiple attacks, you can build up multiple turns of heat. So the Thermodynamo Axe is the first foray, really, into making a heat build in the game work. We're definitely going to come back and pick this up, just not right now. I can't afford it. Next is the Thorn Blade. So when concentrating, your melee weapon attacks deal an additional 1d4 poison damage. So if you're concentrating on something like Hex or something like this can be an entirely new damage rider. Again, it's a 1d4 damage rider, which most of them are. But this allows you to throw on an additional damage rider. And as a light and finesse weapon, the 1d6, the scimitar is up there with the best dual-handing weapons, or dual-wielding weapons you can have. The Harmonium Halberd, upsides and downsides. Again, for your pure great weapon master, or your polearm master builds, it's a great weapon to have. Especially if you can set your ability scores to be odd numbers for intelligence and wisdom, so that then a -1 doesn't hurt you at all, because you're not getting an additional minus to your checks in those areas, because it will just straight up your strength by 2 up to 23. Now what this allows you to do is pair this with an elixir of hill giant strength, which ups your strength to 21. You can stack this on top up to 23, and now you're getting the basically an elixir of frost giant strength, or the gauntlets of hill giant strength in Act 3. You're able to get that all of the time. So the Harmonium Halberd for a specific build can be very, very nice. And last is the Swordmaster's Gloves. These are not useful for me, really. The proficiency part I don't really need. The +1 bonus to melee attack rolls can be useful. However, it's not really a big deal right now. It's more of a deal later on in Act 2 with some of the more higher armor class, harder to hit enemies. As for the rest, that's it for Dammon. So I am going to pick up the Arrow of Many Targets, though.
I'll be here if you need anything else.
And now let's divvy up all of our goods. So, going to put the Ring of Protection back on. I'm going to put the Cloak of Protection on here. Might as well put this over here on Shadowheart. Actually, where's the Cloak of the Cunning Broom? I don't have it here either. For the amulet here. No, I don't want it on her. I'm gonna put this over here for now. For the Flawed Helldust Gloves, For Astarion, right now, he's dealing 1d4 fire damage, and he gets Scorching Ray. The Flawed Helldust Gloves, your unarmed attacks change that to 1d4 necrotic damage, but now you can possibly inflict bleeding. And remember that some of us in our party have Buwal's Benediction. So if we inflict bleeding on a target, everybody with Buwal's Benediction has advantage on attack rolls against that target. It's an incredibly useful combination to now have, and this is our first time to really be able to take advantage of the bleed effect of Buwal's Benediction. Some of this I'm going to send off to camp. The Darkfire Shortbow, I'm going to straight change out on Shadowheart. She's going to give up the hunting shortbow in favor of her being able to cast haste whenever we need it, that once per long rest. So again, incredibly useful. The Mighty Cloth, now here's the change in Karlach. Right now our strength is 18 with Karlach. And if we compare these two, so while raging, the wearer generates 2 turns of wrath. That means she's going to gain a +2 to her initial turn of damage, because wrath gives you a +1 to your damage. She's gaining +2 to Constitution, but then on the second turn it's only a +1 because wrath goes away. So the second turn it's a +1 bonus to damage, and then the third turn it's just gone entirely. The Mighty Cloth is going to allow us to increase our strength score by 2. Now that's going to up us to 20. That means we get a +1 bonus to damage on our Tavern Brawler, and our damage to throw, which is +2. So for a total of +2. So now we're offsetting the benefits of the Enraging Heart Garb, just because we're Tavern Brawler, and we're upping our strength to another number. Having the additional stuff is great, but we are basically going to sacrifice some hit points. We're at 93 right now. We're down to 85, and we're sacrificing that for an increase in our damage output that we're going to have with her. For the Shield of Devotion, this is going to be Shadowheart's normal walking around shield now. She needs to pass a perception check. The Sentinel Shield is obviously the way that she's going to go. And why doesn't Karlach have the Returning Pike equipped? These can go to camp. Now, the rest of the Helldust set. So the Flawed Helldust armor,
All's well that ends. Not as bad
it's a straight downgrade from the Helldust armor, which you're just not supposed to have right now. The resistance to fire damage and cannot be burned is kind of offset by the Hellish Rebuke, the 1d4 fire damage whenever you're hit by a foe. The Superior Plate is nice. It's something I wish was in the Helldust armor, taking 1 less piercing damage, but it is what it is. And you have disadvantage on stealth checks, which we don't have with the Helldust armor. So nothing here that I really want to keep. And the Flawed Helldust helmet is the wielder has a +2 bonus to saving throws against spells. So it's a nice helmet to have. It's medium armor, which right now I don't necessarily want with Karlach, because I'm more focused on unarmored defense with her right now. So I'm going to send that off to camp as well. And there was a couple of things that are missing there that we can still get. Okay, we're just looking to make sure everything's set up. So where are we on our action economy? We're fine for this fight.
How many died today?
So let's go get into a fight. And it actually took a little longer than I expected for that. I'm going to change the description on the video. We're going to start off next week fighting Barcus. Because I need to take a long rest before I do that.
Light on my feet.
And I don't have time to do both of these fights that we're about to get into. So let's go do this one first. On our way, we'll talk to Bex.
Please, I just want to be alone. Gone? Cultists. It was so dark. I didn't realize until the children started screaming. They rounded us up. Cut us up. Said they were taking whoever could still walk to Moonrise Towers. I managed to get away. But my love, Dennis. Martin Dor, Roshan. I've always been good at running. Unlike Dennis, I didn't realize one day our lives would depend on it. I just wish I could have said goodbye. Do you really think so? By the gods, I hope you're right. I wish I hadn't let go of him. It's hard to imagine him making it after everything that happened. But if you find him, it would mean the world to me.
Bex is one of the 3 tieflings here in the Last Light Inn that you want to talk to advance the Rescue the Tieflings questline. Next week, when we go through the interior of the Last Light Inn, including Mattis, which is the last vendor that we're going to be able to buy some stuff with, which is where the missing cloak I was thinking of is from, we'll advance or Rescue the Tieflings quest even more. So over here on this side, we have this building. And this is in the deep curse of the Shadow Curse. So again, you don't want to be over here unless you've got the Pixie's Blessing.
What's that?
And why? Oh, yeah, I've got the slicing short sword. Correct. Okay, now in this building here,
how delicious.
Again, a few things that we want to just go in and pick up. Search real quick while we're in here. Rustic chest, some green dye. Search the wardrobe for some clothes, a book. Don't forget the painting on the wall. Now here inside this room we have a couple of skeletons which are going to have gold rings. And then we have an opulent chest.
Easy.
Actually, I think this is a DC 16. Yeah, it is. Probably should put on my thieves gear here, but again, I'm being lazy. I'll probably pay for it. And here you have the penumbral armor. While obscured, you gain a +3 bonus to stealth checks. This is a key part of the early game version of your Gloomstalker Assassin ranged archer build. The +3 bonus to stealth checks helps you avoid being seen, when you're throwing out those initial strikes from stealth.
Must lug my guts through this hell.
Now here, we're going to head down the roots. We're going to go into hiding when we do this. You see there are some detection cones. The detection cones are from Meenlocks. Now, I have seen the Meenlocks end honor mode runs. And that's because of the fear aura that they have. When they get near you within a 5-meter radius, I think it is, they can frighten you, which locks you in place and gives you disadvantage on all of your attack rolls. So it's incredibly hard to hit back, and they just stand there and beat the crap out of you. We're going to eliminate that as a problem here. But first, we're going to go in here. Shadowheart. Going to put the Sentinel Shield on.
Trap.
Find out that there's a trap. And for this, we're going to swap to the Thieves Gear. We don't want to take any chances with traps. We can't re-roll those except with inspirations.
Quick and quiet.
And here we get the Coruscation Ring. When the wearer deals spell damage while illuminated by a light source, they also inflict radiating orb on the target for 2 turns.
There's no time
Shadowheart is illuminated by a light source right now. She's carrying Lathander's blessing. So she's in the middle of Lathander's light. So now, if she inflicts radiating orb, she's going to inflict an additional 2 turns of it. I'm giving up the 1 additional thunder damage, which is fine. The additional stacks of radiating orb are much better, in my opinion.
Let's see what you're hiding. A knife in the dark.
And now we're going to move everybody else back here, kind of around this corner. I'm going to split my group.
Soldier. Light as air. My faith protects
Move
me.
Karlach and Shadowheart down here.
I was trying to concentrate.
We're going to start this off with Astarion.
Watch your back.
Now again, this can go badly depending upon how it starts.
Stay low.
Astarion has the alert feat. So we're going to put him kind of here. And we're going to start with a sneak attack against the Meenlock here. And we're going to hold down control and just keep attacking as long as we can. Okay, so we managed to get the second one off. We managed to get a surprise round, which is good. That's exactly what we wanted, but not really for the reason that you're thinking. This is going to allow us to get extra distance away from the Meenlocks. The Meenlocks can shadow teleport, which means from one piece of shadow to another across a 18-meter distance, they can just teleport using their bonus action. So they can dash with their action, and then they can shadow teleport with their bonus action and really close the distance on you very, very fast. So we want to kind of minimize all of that. Because Astarion is not immune to fear.
Yes, here.
Okay, but we're going to move him into a lighted area here. But not all the way back here in the dark. I don't want them shadow teleporting into here on this turn, and their detection cones finding people back here. It's critical that I don't let them see my group here first. There's the shadow teleport. You can see how far they can move. Okay, good. We got a second one out here. Okay, so I didn't move back far enough. It's not a problem. I'll work around it here. The detection cones are focused on Astarion over there, so I should have moved back farther back here into this section of blighted area. I'm just a little too close to him. I'm gonna move my bard to there just for now.
Attention, halfling essence.
I'm gonna get Karlach into the fight here. And I sold the pickaxe, or the pitchfork, and I didn't pick up the javelin +1 because he didn't have it. So I'm just gonna throw Unseen Menace.
Handy.
Okay.
What comes now? No time to dally.
Now Shadowheart. I want to move everybody up here because I need them all somewhat grouped up for this to work. And now my bard. For this, I'm going to cast Calm Emotions. Okay, now that's going to make everybody immune to the Meenlock fear. However, it is going to eliminate Karlach's rage ability. She cannot frenzy when she's calmed. Okay? Not a big deal. The benefits far outweigh any of the consequences, and now Astarion can move again. So we're going to start off our attacks here. So when I didn't change his gear out, I was like, why is he not inflicting bleeding? Can't swap it out because it needs an action to do it. And you saw the other thing there. We'll look at it here in a second, because this does not show up in their examine tab. Karlach saved against claws. They have the same claws as the winged horrors do that can paralyze you. And this is why honor mode runs get ended. They come up, they fear you, you can't move, they have advantage on attack rolls against you, they paralyze you, and before you know it, your entire party is just paralyzed over and over and over again, getting critical hit after critical hit. And this is why the runs end. Calm emotions is a must-have in this encounter. There's no other way around it. Don't even think about any other option. However you can cast it, cast it. It's a concentration spell, so my bard needs to be able to maintain that concentration. So that means don't cast Hex on anybody, don't do any of that stuff, and also have a high armor class so that you can avoid getting hit, so that you don't have to worry about passing a constitution saving throw to maintain concentration on it. Okay? That's the whole deal here, is making sure that you keep that up. So I'm actually going to keep my bard back a little bit and let everybody else kind of soak up the attacks a little bit, because calm emotions is the only thing that's going to save me here from this. So for here, he's got 49 hit points.
I've missed this.
Let's see what we can do.
My turn.
It's kind of what I thought. Perfect.
Covered.
Cut and run.
So now I'm actually reconsidering this a little bit. Let's move Shadowheart over here into the light source where they can't shadow teleport. And I'm thinking of another way for me to avoid damage here. And that's by causing the radiating orb to proc. We still have some movement here? We do.
Time to kill.
Okay, I'm not going to go out there
No choice but to keep going.
with the Starian.
Best be on my way.
I would prefer her to be over here. On this side. And we're going to turn Repelling Blast on.
Got to focus.
And now let's let them come in here. And we'll see how many stacks of radiating orb they're all going to be getting. That makes it harder for them to hit me because of the minuses to their hit rolls because of it. So yeah, 8 stacks of radiating orb. 10 stacks. 10 stacks. This is all minus 10 to hit. For all of them. And this is what adding that additional ring does with it. A -1 to attack rolls for each remaining turn. So, yeah, they've got some problems here.
Behold the dance of death.
Hey, I do have one of these left. That probably isn't going to work there. Yep, I need to move back just a little more. Oh, come on. It's sitting over the top of him. It was really trying to... It treated Unseen Menace laying on the ground as a target. That was dumb. Battleheart isn't going to do anything. Again, I need to... During the respec, I'm going to change her cantrips out so she has Sacred Flame again.
Ready for another round?
And, yep. Can't throw through the door because of the high arc that she would have to throw it at. Banged it, so even more minuses to hit. Looking for a Starian here. Oh boy. So many minuses to hit. I wish it showed his number right now. Look at all of his saving throw bonuses. Yes, that's exactly what I'm going to do, Lord Henry. I'm going to do that. Like I say, I wanted to use up my action economy because I'm going to take a long rest to start off next week. So during that long rest, I'm going to do all of my respecs and before the Barcus fight. Because yes, I'm going to get rid of the 4 rogue, 4 monk, and make it 3 rogue, 5 monk, so I can gain my extra attack, which allows me to alternate between this unarmed strike and my bonus action unarmed strike without using key points. And while we're here, let's use our action to swap that out, just so you can see what it does. So there's the necrotic damage, and he had bleeding for a split second, I think. Oh no, the end of the turn killed him before it got to take effect. So,
My faith
again,
will guide me.
critical thing there is calm emotions. Don't go into that fight without it. You just flat will not survive it. It's just that harsh. of a penalty to deal with in your game. So make sure that when you go into that, you're prepped for it, because like I say, you do need it. Now, none of the Meenlocks here, there's only one of them that has something, and there's the covert cowl. So while you're obscured, the number you need to roll a crit is reduced by 1. This effect can stack, so something fighting in darkness for your crit hit builds that we will start looking at a little bit later on. We're not entirely focused on that aspect of it yet, but we certainly will be a little bit later on.
Step lightly.
So with the last bit of the stream, we're going to head in here. Camp supplies. Here we have Hallfred's note.
A Selûnite shrine, hidden away.
I thought shamans were usually the ones worshipping in the shadows.
So Hallfred's note explains about the fact that reunite with Morfred in the bowels of the Masons Guild. Okay, this is going to advance the investigate the Selûnite resistance quest, because now we have a new location that we want to go to. The last light site entrance key we're going to use here in a minute. Don't forget to pick up the portrait.
A Selûna idol, really? Are you in need of a paperweight?
Shadowheart and her hatred for Selûnites coming through again. Selûnite prayer book, nothing special about it. You can just pick it up. And again, another painting down here. Don't forget it. And we're going to pick up this barrel when they finish their pathing all the way around the world to go pick it up. There's another one down here. And then for the rest, that's about it. There's some incredible verticality here in this section of the level that you can position yourself around. But again, if you don't have calm emotions, there's no way you're going to be able to move in here and take advantage of any of that verticality. It's best to fight in a choke point, either here or back where we were.
Watch your back.
And have them funnel towards you rather than playing on their terms, so to speak.
Where am I? What's going on?
I'm just gonna... Is there anything else I can shoot? No, I think that's missing. Okay, good. It did. Because in here's a smoke powder barrel. They put it in front of the cracked wall so that if you're coming from the other side, you can kind of have a hint. But we have much more uses for those smoke powder barrels than just blowing up useless little walls that we can do with Eldritch Blast.
Let's be quick.
Now let's head back the way we came. And we'll quickly see what that key does. I guess we can on the way. I don't think there's much of anything in it. But we'll come up here on top. There's a couple of things we can search over here. Yeah, nothing in them. Okay, we're going to come back here to this door. This door is locked. But that key that we just picked up is what unlocks this door. Now this is going to bring us into the basement or the cellar, I guess, of the Last Light Inn. Scroll of Revivify. Nice. Got lucky on that roll. And there's another smoke powder barrel here, which gives you another hint about a wall there.
Everything is clear. Never wanted the easy path.
Over here, some thieves' tools, and I think that's it in here.
What's inside?
So we can come through here into a jail cell. And if you look at our map, you can see that we can now explore the basement, and there's a way up here to get in. Now, you can use a star and a lockpick your way out of that cell, but you don't have to. We're going to make our way into the cellar again, and then I'm going to explain what I'm going to do off stream so you're not surprised by it. The Last Light Inn is a huge place. There is a bunch of trash to be picked up, both down here in the cellar, as well as inside the inn itself on both the ground floor, the upper floor, and the roof. And then all of the surrounding areas on the outside. There's no reason for y'all to stick around because it literally will take me 45 minutes to go through all of these things that are scattered everywhere. There's no point in me doing that on stream. No, come back here. Forgot. There's a spider web. There's no point in me doing that on stream. There just isn't. So when I come back next week, all of the downstairs area here is going to be entirely looted, and the environs all around the outside of Last Light are going to be looted, and the map opened up, and all of the items I can pick up in the Last Light Inn are also going to be looted. Then, so that when we start off, what we're going to do next week is I'm going to have conversations with all of the various NPCs that are here in Last Light that we need to do. And then we're going to take a long rest and immediately, when that is done, come back and get into a fight with Marcus, because we're going to do our respecs during that long rest and get prepared as best we can for that fight. There was just way too much inventory management that happened here during this one, and I don't want to subject you all to any more of it. Like I say, I know it's not the most engaging gameplay. So I will do all of that off stream. I'll spend another hour, maybe, an hour or so probably, to loot it all. And when you come back, you'll have the map opened up, but we will have not missed any real content through all of it. So, as always, thank you all for being here. I really appreciate all the comments, especially today, as I said during the chatting section. It was a long night for work last night, and I'm really tired, and I thank you all for throwing out all of the helpful comments today. I'm a little, brain fried here, so thank you all for keeping me on my toes and making sure I'm not missing anything. Because as always, without your support, none of this would be possible. This is Commander Jorval saying until next time, fare thee well.